Tutorials kinda suck, and I know it. They hold your hands too much, they're kinda boring, and they teach you things from other games that you already know.
Here's the controller configuration. Move your character using the analog thumb pad.
But us devs keep making them. Why is that? And how can we make them suck less? More on that later. For now, let me walk you through the V1 of Surfpunk's tutorial. Surfpunk is this co-op-centric ARPG with short extraction-like sessions. You pick up a quest where you surf around a randomized archipelago to scavenge loot, complete your main objective, and get out before a giant tsunami wipes the map. The challenge for us is that when folks look at the game, they all assume it's a roguelike. And it's not. There's no death loop here, and a match lasts around 20 minutes. The structure of the game is actually closer to something like Helldivers, but within a pirate surfer fantasy universe. With that in mind, it's super important for us to onboard players so that they come to properly understand this loop, because it's not really typical for this camera perspective and combat style. Let's dive in. In Surfpunk, you start out as this new raider recruit. You're greeted by the captain who tells you you're dressed poorly for the tropics, so he sends you to Takeda Tailor where you can customize your character's looks. While some games just let you make your character before even starting the game, we like the idea of trying to blend it seamlessly with the story introduction. So once you're set up, the captain gives you your first quest, which involves rescuing a veteran raider named Red who hasn't come back in a while. I'm happy about a lot of the details we put into this tutorial, but after doing a few playtests, we realized that we kinda screwed some things up too. More on this later. So unlike regular quests, which have randomized islands and layouts, the tutorial is the first quest we made with a full handcrafted level design. You can see here that the islands are bunched together and certain areas are blocked off. Compare that to our typical level layouts where it's much more open. We did this in part to force the player into specific scenarios they might encounter in a regular run, such as losing access to their board. You see, once they cross this first island, they can't go back to where they arrived. But then, we show them that they can always craft a new board, so long as they have the necessary bamboo. Crafting is a distinguishing feature for the game that we felt was super important to teach this way. Once you get on the second island, you find Red asleep and have to wake him. This uses the same input method as reviving a teammate. We made it this way to subtly seed the idea that other players can be reanimated if on the ground like this. I like having moments like these in tutorials because they teach you mechanics organically, without having to feel like you're being lectured to. Once awake, Red gives you instructions to follow that walk you through more of the game's unique concepts. You learn that you can craft ladders to climb cliffs. You can activate towers to give you map information. You can even break certain walls using explosive barrels. One thing we didn't teach so well is what we like to call the barge. The barge is this big raft-looking thing that carries all your loot. You need it to periodically unload your backpack into, and so it's essential to pull around to new islands. It even acts as a floating device you can hang onto if you don't have a board. But when we tested the tutorial with players, we found that many missed the barge prompt or weren't sure where to find it, which led to some frustrations. So we're going to have to add a step and a UI indicator to make things more obvious. At the end of the quest, you get your objective, activating a device which gives you these crystals called Everest prisms, which you then need to carry back to the barge. Once the Everest is deposited, you get a warning of an incoming tsunami and need to immediately escape. But we actually rigged the level with obstacles that force you to wipe out. Now why would we do such a thing? We wanted to teach that even if you don't manage to surf perfectly on the tsunami, your quest won't fail. In early playtests with the game, we realized that it really sucked to do a perfect run only to wipe out on the wave at the very end and lose everything. So we made it so that tsunami surfing is just a fun bragging rights kind of thing, and can't actually cause you any real harm. After all, wouldn't it suck if in a game like Helldivers you had to pilot the dropship after extracting, and then if you crashed into a meteor or something you'd fail the whole mission? In a regular quest, there would be a threat meter indicating how much time you have before the tsunami, but we wanted the tutorial not to have time pressures so players can properly learn everything. One drawback with this is that it doesn't really prepare you for the time limit that does exist in regular quests. We're still figuring this part out, but let me know in the comments what you would expect. In the end, tutorials are a necessary part of modern game dev. There's always going to be some new players or new game concepts that just need to be taught directly. Since Surfpunk is a co-op game, we're hoping most folks will learn from each other in a friendly, community kind of way. But we still want to have a fallback in case you prefer to pick things up solo first. And as for the secret to making tutorials suck less, well, it's really the same as most things in game dev. Iteration and playtesting. Only by refining version after version with real player data can tutorials properly balance handholding, fun, and learning. If you'd like to help us out, you can sign up for playtests at surfpunkgame.com or join our Double Stallion Discord. We'd love to hear from you. I really believe that games are made better by having early player involvement. Thanks for watching.